The phone lines at the Brookdale Police Department were usually quiet on a Tuesday evening, but that night a voice broke through that no one there would ever forget. Officer Elena Morales picked up the emergency line, her tone calm and steady, like it always was, but what she heard on the other end wasn't panic in the way she expected. It was the trembling whisper of a 6-year-old girl. "Daddy's game hurts," she said softly, almost like she was scared the words themselves might get her in trouble. "He plays every night, and Mommy cries." Elena felt her stomach twist. She glanced at her partner, James O'Connor, a seasoned cop whose weary eyes had seen far too many houses that looked fine from the outside but carried darkness within. She signaled with her hand while keeping her voice gentle. "Sweetheart, can you tell me your name?" Lila, the girl answered. "Lila Carter. We live on Pinewood Lane, the house with the red door." James was already reaching for his jacket. He muttered under his breath, "Calls from kids are never simple." They drove through the quiet neighborhood in tense silence, both imagining the worst. When they pulled up to 1 and 12 Pinewood Lane, nothing looked unusual. A neat yard porch light glowing warmly, curtains drawn. Elena knocked. "Police. We received a call." The door creaked open, and standing there was a man in his early 40s, unshaven eyes shadowed with exhaustion. "Officers, is there a problem?" His voice cracked like he already knew there was. Behind him appeared little Lila, her cheeks streaked with dried tears, pigtails hanging uneven. She darted straight to Elena, wrapping her arms around the officer's legs. "I called you," she whispered. "Daddy plays every night. It makes loud noises. Mommy cries when she thinks I'm asleep." The man's hands shook. "Lila, go to your room." But she clung tighter. James's eyes flicked toward the basement door, paint chipped from constant use. Something about the way the man's gaze kept darting there set off alarms. "Mr. Carter," James said firmly, "we need to talk about what's going on in this house." Elena knelt to Lila's level. "Sweetheart, what do these sounds sound like?" "Like metal, hitting metal," the girl said earnestly, "and sometimes lights flash under the door. Daddy says it's a surprise, but he looks sad all the time. I just, I just want him to smile again." That single line hit Elena harder than any scream for help ever had. They weren't standing in a crime scene yet, but they were definitely in the middle of a family unraveling. The basement door stayed closed, holding its secrets. Upstairs, the house felt heavy with tension. James asked carefully, "What kind of work are you doing down there?" The father swallowed hard. "I was an engineer. Now I'm nothing. I've been out of work 8 months." Elena glanced around and noticed the details overdue. Bills stacked half-hidden under a magnet, a fridge that looked far too empty for a family of 3, Lila's crayon drawings taped to the wall. Every one of them with a dad who had no smile. Later that night, Lila's mother walked in, Claire Carter, a nurse still in scrubs from a long shift. She froze at the sight of the officers, then her little girl running into her arms. "Mommy, I called the nice police because Daddy makes noises." Claire's eyes filled with a weariness that told the truth before she said a word. "Officers, my husband isn't dangerous. He's just lost." David Carter finally spoke, his voice cracking. "They took 12 years of my life, that company. I built machines that could do almost anything, and one morning they said I wasn't needed. Now I leave every day so neighbors don't know I'm unemployed. I sit at the library applying to jobs that never call back. At night I can't sleep, so I go down there and try to build something that reminds me I'm not useless." "What are you building?" Elena asked. He looked ashamed. "You'll think it's stupid. I'm trying to build an interactive learning robot, something that helps kids with homework, tells stories, plays games that actually teach." Lila gave me the idea. She said she wished she had a friend who was always patient, never too tired. Claire stared at him like she was seeing him for the first time in months. "You never told me it was for her. I wanted it perfect before anyone knew," he whispered. Before Elena could respond, headlights flashed across the window. Then came a knock at the door, sharp, official. A woman in a suit stepped inside, clipboard in hand. "Mr. and Mrs. Carter, I'm Dana Liu from Child Protective Services. We've had multiple reports of concerning activity, strange noises, secretive behavior, a child's emergency call. We may need to consider protective custody while we investigate." The little girl's face drained of color. "Please don't take me away," she cried, clinging to her father. "Daddy's not scary. He's building something beautiful. The basement door suddenly felt like the hinge holding the whole family's fate. James crossed his arms. Then let's see what's behind it. The father hesitated, terrified, but his daughter tugged his sleeve. Daddy, remember you said being brave doesn't mean you're not scared. It means you do the right thing. He closed his eyes, nodded, and opened the door. The group descended into a space lit by makeshift work lamps. It wasn't chaos. It was an engineer's world built from scraps, pegboards lined with tools, shelves stacked with parts, schematics taped to the walls in careful order. And in the corner beneath a tarp stood a figure about 4 feet tall. Go on, Daddy, Lila urged. He pulled the tarp away, revealing a robot with a painted smile, arms made from aluminum tubing, a tablet for a face. Not sleek, not polished, but alive with intention. Good evening, Lila, the robot said in a warm voice when he powered it on. Who are your friends tonight? The girl laughed. These are the nice officers. And this is the lady who makes sure kids are safe. And this is Mrs. Patterson from next door. The robot's digital eyes blinked. It's wonderful to meet Lila's friends. Even the CPS worker had to pause. Mr. Carter, this is remarkably sophisticated, he explained in a rush, words spilling with months of bottled desperation. I recycled parts, programmed it myself. Lila helps test it, she teaches it how kids really talk, what makes learning fun. I wasn't hiding something dangerous. I was hiding because I was ashamed. The elderly neighbor, Mrs. Patterson, wrung her hands. All this time I thought terrible things. I'm so sorry. It's okay, Lila said softly, the forgiveness of a child piercing the silence. Daddy says sometimes grown-ups make mistakes when they're trying to help. The officers realized then this wasn't a case of danger. This was a family choking under pride, judgment, and silence. Weeks later, the Carter basement looked different. Not secretive anymore, live with neighbors, volunteering electricians, helping with circuits, retired teachers, suggesting educational games. Mrs. Patterson even offered her unused garage to expand the workshop. Claire no longer worked endless double shifts alone. And David, once broken, had become the heart of a project that gave purpose back to him and hope to children who needed it. On opening day of the Carter Learning Lab, Lila stood proudly in front of a crowd of parents, teachers, and neighbors. 3 finished robots rolled gently around the room, helping kids read, solve math, and most importantly, believe they could learn. David spoke, voice steady, for the first time in years. 6 months ago, I thought I had nothing left to give. Tonight, I see that the most valuable things we build aren't machines. They're families, communities, and the courage to share our struggles instead of hiding them. Lila tugged his sleeve. Don't forget the best part, Daddy. He smiled at her. The best part isn't the technology, it's that it brought us together. The crowd applauded, but the robot, almost like it understood, added in its gentle voice, families are teams, and the strongest teams help each other's dreams come true. The room fell silent, except for the sound of children laughing, learning, discovering joy in ways they hadn't before. But as the camera lingers on that scene, I'll leave you with this question. If you heard strange noises from your neighbor's house, would you assume the worst? Or would you knock on the door and ask if they needed help? Sometimes the difference between tearing a family apart and helping them rise again is just one conversation we're too afraid to start. So tell me in the comments, what do you think? Were the neighbors justified in reporting their suspicions, or did they fail by not offering compassion? First, have you ever seen someone judged harshly, only to realize later their struggle was something completely different? Because maybe the real lesson here is simple. The loudest noises in a house aren't always danger. They might just be the sound of someone still fighting to dream.